or for my first questions, what do you do as a structural engineer?
It basically comes down to an architect comes to us with a building that they want to have not fall down. And so we size the vertical members, the horizontal members, and the members that resist the wind load. So it's the sizing and designing of the structural system that makes up the building skeleton.
So you pretty much make sure that nobody dies.
That's right. They'll come to us with what the building shape is and get some suggestions from us on terms of member sizes, member spacing, column locations. But then we'll take that information, size the foundations first, and then work our way up the building to get the full either steel, wood, reinforced concrete system. And then they can apply their essentially facade on it, and then you have a building.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. Why did you choose this career?
I went to orientation at Penn State, which is where I got my degree, and they had all their different engineering disciplines. I knew I was going to do engineering, good science and math background, and they ended up. I walked to what they called an architectural engineering program, and that is solely the design of buildings, whether it's the mechanical and electrical or the structural. And so a civil degree where you do a wide variety of topics, including structural and water and everything else, is a little too broad for me. I knew I wanted to do buildings, so I went specifically to the architectural engineering side of it, and did and then structures was just more fascinating, because yeah, lights turn on, that's not that impressive. Mechanical, yeah, cold air flows to keep you cool, but you see all the high rises over in Dubai, what are they up to? Like 1,000-meter tall buildings. That's interesting. How do you get those to stand up? So that's really what drew me to the structural.
So what is a typical work day for you? What do you do? Well, do you have a lot of hours? Do you have any special routines?
You don't, because during the design process, well, look at it this way. You start off with any project with the architect telling you what they want. You start giving them schematic level, just basic level information. You then develop that into a more solid design, the design development phase, where you're really fleshing out the issues. You take that to the construction document phase, where you're putting everything on paper, and then it goes out for bid, and then you're in the CA phase, construction administration phase, for a long time. And if we're working on 5 to 6 projects at a time, they're all going to be in different phases. So depending on what comes up that day for that project is really going to dictate what you do. So I might start the day looking at a geotechnical report to determine how I'm going to design a foundation for something. Then I'll get an email about a critical site condition that I need to deal with on another project. So I got to quickly jump off that, because these guys are waiting to pour a concrete slab, and there's a piece of steel missing, or reinforcing that they don't have. They need that information immediately. So then you got to table what you're doing, jump on that so you're not holding up construction. Then you might be able to come back to it. And then an architect on another project calls you up because they have a question. And so it's not really putting out fires, but jumping back and forth in order to meet those different phases for all those different projects that you have going on at the same time.
Sounds pretty stressful.
It can be, especially when you get towards the deadlines. So at each of those phases I mentioned, there's normally a deliverable that you have to produce, whether it's just a narrative of words explaining what the system is, or whether it's the CDs where it's the actual construction documents that you're producing. So as you get close to that deadline, the stress level jumps up, and because you got to get it done by that time. So it can be, but if you plan well enough ahead, it minimizes the stress.
All right. What are the most important skills and abilities for your job?
A lot of people think that it's math skills. You got to be really good at math, but it really is about critical thinking. And the architect comes to you with, okay, this is the building, I need you to design the structure. You then have to think really in advance what the process is going to be, so you can attack it in the most efficient manner. But then you're going to have problems that come up in that, and you have to think to yourself, you have to be able to think, how am I going to resolve this quickly? Because if you start hemming and hawing, you don't really know what direction to go, now you're just wasting time and killing time, and that's not going to get it done. So you have to be able to, when presented with a problem, be able to critically think your way through that problem and come up with a good enough solution quickly. So if you can critically think and come up with answers quickly, then that's a huge benefit to any employer.
What are the best opportunities for somebody that's just coming into this kind of career?
The best opportunities in terms of what?
Well, let's say, okay, let's start with payments. Like, when you first come into the job, how much do people typically get paid?
It varies from city to city. So in Atlanta, I think that they're starting with a bachelor's degree in structural engineering somewhere just below 50,000 a year, in that range. So pretty good pay. One of the issues is there aren't that many people coming out with degrees in structural engineering, or really any of our engineering fields, and so there's really a demand for people, which is only going to help pay go up. Because you can imagine electrical engineers coming from your computer science background. Electrical engineers, there's so many options out there for them to pursue in terms of career. And why would you want to just design lighting and power distribution when you could go into any of the tech fields and do a lot more interesting work? So there's a real limit on the pool of talent, which causes salaries to go up.
Well, that's really good then.
Yes.
If you could, would you choose the career again?
Well, I originally wanted to be a chemical engineer, but at the time, my dad said, "There's no jobs in chemical engineering now. You have to pick a different field." So I came into this, but I've been doing this for 16 years, and I still enjoy coming to work every day. So I'd probably still pick the same field.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
That's all you got?
That's all I need.
Oh, that was easy.